Welcome back to the show, everybody. Episode number 5 of HB's Housing Huddle. The man, myth, legend, and then my Toyota Tundra brother now.
Yo!
My man, JD DeLafuente. What's up, man? How are
Dude,
you?
Hunter, I don't know, but I'm really pumped to be here with you right now.
Dude, I'm excited.
And I'm feeling it, baby.
I know you are. And you, today, 5 years. Wait, right? Today,
Yeah.
5 years of real estate? Come on now.
Dude, 5 years. 5 years ago, I left BNSF Railway, which was my job for 15 years.
Oh, my God.
And just, walked away from that. And today, I get to celebrate that with you today.
We actually did not plan this. So anybody's listening, I did not know that until you texted me this morning.
That is so true. Like
And-
it makes my hair stand
Dude,
up just to like.
I shaved my arms this morning, and now I got hair coming out of it.
I love that, dude.
Dude, man, that is so awesome. I mean, the thing is, though, I really think that we were friends just through, like, I think mutual friends or something through social media.
Right.
And I've, like, watched your, like, real estate, like, expedite becoming, like, this crazy boom now, man. And you guys are crushing it.
Well, thanks, man. Appreciate that.
It's something to be proud of.
Yeah, it's been good,
I
man.
mean, you came in, like, right at the hottest market ever.
Right. Yeah.
And then it kind of went crazy, and then now it slowed down a little bit, but y'all are still staying busy, which is awesome.
Yeah.
So let's just touch on it there. Like, I always start with, like, give me a little bit of your background. Give me a little bit of, like, why you wanted to move into real estate, because your wife is part of your team, or you guys team up together now.
Right.
So just touch on a little bit like that.
Well, so I started real estate. Our first investment we ever made was back in 2007.
Okay.
So my wife and I, Shayla and I, bought our first house.
Okay.
And that was our first real estate experience. And it's so crazy. We just found the paperwork on that. We were cleaning the garage last week, and she was like, she showed me, she's like, look, it's all the paperwork. So you're like, oh man, there's closing disclosure, and there's like the this and the that. So I'm like, oh, now I'm really wanting to read this, and the contract looks so much more different.
What was
than it
the
does
rate
now.
on it, if you want me to ask?
It was a 3.85
in 2006, huh?
No. That was my refinance paperwork.
Oh, there's a refinance.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Got it.
No, it was 6%. It was 6. I think, and they bought it down from a 6.25 to a 6. But no, I had my refi paperwork there with it, and then it was down to a 3.75. Well, that was cool.
Yeah. Nice little savings.
Yeah, dude. So we bought that house, and I really enjoyed that process.
Yeah.
And fast forward, my dad had been into real estate investments for my whole life, so I'd been seeing him, buy rentals and flip houses back before, like, flipping houses were even a thing, probably.
Yeah, before HGTV.
Yeah, dude. He'd buy like these junkers, and they'd be like burnt halfway down, and so man. I saw Dad doing investments like that, so it kind of, like, I guess I was learning the art of real estate at a young age, didn't even know it.
Yeah, seriously.
And then fast forward to 2000, we kept that house for a while. And my dad always said, don't ever sell your real estate. And I never really understood what that meant until it was time to sell the real estate. And so I was like, well, how am I going to buy this new house if I don't sell this house? Yeah. And so he had to, like, help me wrap my brain around, like, what my payment was, like $400. Or, like, wow. It was nothing, right?
Yeah.
And
it's a little different.
Yeah, it was different. Then he's like, okay, so you can rent this out for $1,400, and now you're taking that $1,000, and the people that are buying this, or they're renting your house, are gonna help you buy your new house. Mm-hmm. So it was super cool, dude. I was able to, like, roll that $1,000 towards my new mortgage. So, and thank God I had him, because I would never been able to understand those things. Totally. But yeah, so that got us into real estate investments, man. That was like the first move. And then we kind of just started snowballing, and I did investments before I ever got into traditional real estate you and I do now.
Got it.
We were flipping houses, we were buying and holding. That was like our big goal, was to get away from the railway. We knew. So Shayla was a nurse. She'd been in the medical field for 15 years as well. And once we had our kiddos, your visions and your goals changed drastically. I mean, anybody who's listening to this, you can attest to that. That's one thing that will change your life, man, is having kids.
Yep.
So I feel like that was another driving factor to us, diving further into real estate investments, because I knew that that was going to be the only way to be able to get away from the railway income, was to create it somewhere else.
Yeah, totally.
So creating passive income, and we had a goal that was like, okay, then it was like, in 5 years, if I can produce X amount of dollars to match my income here, then I can walk away from this place.
Totally. and then your equity is growing too with the
Sure.
same thing. Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And for me, it was more the cash flow, right? So I wanted to
Mhm.
put that money in my pocket to essentially pay myself for managing and all those things. But so yeah, we ended up fast tracking that plan. To be honest, I was miserable at the railway,
I can
and
imagine.
I was living a double life where I was, happy go lucky, positive person here with you,
Mhm.
and then going to work, and it was just, I mean, when they say you feel like you're in prison and you feel like you really have like a ceiling on your head, that's how it feels.
Yeah.
And if anybody who's listening has ever felt that way, then you know what we're talking about here.
We're telling you to get into real estate.
We're telling you to give us a call. But yeah, so I think my passion was real estate investments. All that to say is
Love
just
that.
it's what allowed me to be here where I am today, man. 5 years ago,
That's
like
crazy.
Shayla wrote my resignation letter for me. So
Could you believe it?
no, I mean, yes. Today I was driving here, and I had like an overwhelming sense of gratitude, man.
Yeah.
Like,
God is good.
oh my God, God is good.
Yeah.
And when I started listening to His plan instead of my own, and I realized that He had more out there for me than I could ever imagine or plan,
Yep.
then it's like a heavy weight just lifted off your shoulder.
Yeah. It's almost like someone's just like turned on the lights off and said, "Here's your path," and just lit up the path for you. It's just like, just follow it.
Right.
And I mean, we were the same way with it being mortgage. I mean, I will say it took me a little more pushing on mine because I've been in mortgage 8 years now, and then I've been on the broker side for 3. And prior to being a broker, we weren't self generating. I was just correspondent or direct to consumer, like taking phone calls all day. And like kind of like you said, it's like someone was a ceiling on top of my head. I just couldn't go anywhere. I was exhausted. It was depressing. And then Shelby was like, "You have to get out of this. Like you love what you're doing, but you have to get out where you're at."
Right.
And we were on the same side. And it's like, man, just yeah. I think also people think through that is that this is easy.
Sure.
They're like, "Oh, well, what you did is easy. Because you built your business now, you had an idea." It's like this still isn't easy. I don't care how
Sure.
seasoned of a real estate agent or mortgage pro that you are. There's a lot of stress that goes into it.
Oh, it's the grind too,
It
man.
is
It's
a
the grit
grind.
that you have to wake up with every single day.
Yep.
And people are like, for example, they might see you now and go, "Oh man, look, like it's so easy for him." But a lot of people don't realize what it took you to get here today,
And then what
right?
it takes to maintain that.
To maintain it.
Yep, I totally agree. And it's what you and I were talking about earlier. It's social media, it's networking, it's conversations with past clientele. I mean, you're literally like 30 jobs in one. I tell everybody like we're firefighters, therapists, attorneys, financial
Yes.
advisor. You literally feel like you're all in one.
Right. I love that you said that. It's like I always use the term the counselor hat. I'm like,
Yeah,
I've got my counselor hat on because
Yep.
today they need that side of me.
Yeah.
And like so it feel like it's good, like, but we are all those things, and a lot of people don't realize really what we do, right? On the ins and outs of the day to day, which is all those things. It's like,
Totally.
oh yeah, man, all they do is just go throw a sign in your yard, and the house just sells, and it's just not that.
No, and like in our we're on our phones. It feels like 24/7. I hate that, honestly. I'm like, I wish I could get off the phone. I got an agent. I had somebody yesterday, and not to speak badly about anybody. He called me. He was like, I can never get a hold of you. Like this first time that I call, I'm like, it's because I'm on the phone with like probably 3 or 4 other people. But if you give me 5 minutes, I'll probably call you like right back. 5 minutes to call. And I was like, we're all managing hats. It just takes team players to be partnered together to make these things successful, because
Sure.
you're going to know how we're going to work. And if it's a 911 deal, we're going to drop the phone and figure out what's going on. But it's like, let's all work on the same path. We can work parallel to each other and get to the same goal if you're going the same speed. If one person's going 100 and you're going 20, and it's like, well, we're going to get there. It's going to be at different times. So no,
Right.
because we have Tundras together, we can at least get there totally the same time.
We're gonna get there fast.
We
dude.
will. And if anybody doesn't know, we keep making the Tundra joke because JD just got a new truck. It's beautiful, and I have a Tundra as well. So we're laughing because we're having a good time with it. But
yeah, now we're Tundra brothers, bro.
Tundra
And after this,
brothers.
we're gonna hit the streets and we're gonna drag race. We're gonna get out there and be like, line them up, dude. We're gonna see if
traction control off, 4-wheel drive, just
full speed, bro, full speed. And then we're gonna get pulled over
Yep.
for drag racing, and 2 grown adults are gonna be getting
They're
to
gonna
jail.
ask why we did it. We're like, we did it for the podcast.
Dude, we did it for the gram, baby.
Yeah,
we did it for the gram. And actually, you're on video right now too, officer. Can you say cheese? Pop.
Man, It sounds like every 16-year-old kid that's
Yeah.
out there right now. Oh
Yeah.
my gosh,
And
man.
I was just with my kid Jude on the way to baseball on Saturday. He's like, "Daddy, how fast does this truck go?" It's first time he's driving it. He's stoked. He's like, "This is the nicest truck I've ever been in." I said, "Dude, I don't know. I haven't gotten on the highway with it. Let's see what it does."
Yeah.
He's like, "Yeah, dude." So here's Dad. Dad of the year over here is like, "Yeah, dude, letting my 7-year-old
Convince me to go. Yeah.
like, what am I doing, dude?" So we get on the highway, burn. And he's like, "Dude," I look back in the rear mirror and his head's like this.
He's probably living the
He
dream.
loved it. He was
He
like, "Daddy, I
loving it.
couldn't even move my neck." I was like, "Dude, me either." That was dope, right? He's
That's
like,
like they're like your best little support systems, and you don't realize
"Oh
it.
yeah,
Like they're like your hype man when you really need it. You know,
oh yeah,
man,
dude."
that's so
That
awesome.
was great.
Well, let's jump in, dude, because I think well, so we got a mix of listeners. So we've got a mix of the realtors that listen, trying to understand to grow their business, expand business, what you're doing to do that. But we also have the everyday consumer who's maybe looking to invest, maybe looking to buy their next home, maybe buy their first home. So everything kind of depends on what we're talking about here. So what I kind of want to jump into first, I kind of try to break it into two segments, is this first piece is how, like, what's built your business in the sense of the foundation of your business, and then what did you do to get it to the next level of production wise, where you're getting consistent, like you told me earlier, you're about to hit your largest production month ever. What, this month or next
Yeah,
month?
for this month, compared to the last 5, right?
Okay, right. So you're essentially with that, right? So let's say foundation, what have you built your business foundation on? And then what's consistently maintained your production to keep that high level of producing?
So I think the first part of that question, man, we built our. I think we've built our. I would like to say that we've built our business on relationships.
Mm-hmm.
And that goes so much further than when I started real estate, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
And I think it's built on character. I think it's built on, relationships that we've built over the years, that people who know us in the not even in the direct like sphere,
Yeah.
but even further than that, from people that we've grown up with. I mean, my very first client ever was a guy that I went to high school with.
Oh
And
wow.
I don't even know that he knows that to this day.
Oh wow.
Yeah, his
That's
name's his
crazy.
name's Miguel, and I'm gonna tag him in this.
Yeah, please do.
I am.
Miguel,
I'm
if you're
told
listening.
Miguel, you're getting tagged in this video, bro. But he knew me from school,
Okay.
and I get a lot of that. And I like to think I was a not the greatest of kind of dude in school,
Mm-hmm.
but I guess I still showed enough people love that they were, open to talking to me about real estate whenever I started doing it.
Yeah,
So a
no,
lot of my
totally.
people were, I think just built on long-term relationships. I coach our team on social media.
Yeah, which you crush
Huge.
it on.
I love that. And it's just, I would say that social media is probably one of the biggest driving factors on maintaining some of those relationships, which is not always the best because sometimes we lose that person to person feel.
Yeah.
But the facts show that everyone is on social media.
I mean, yeah, it's everywhere. And that's the way to keep up with everyday consumer too.
I
The way,
agree.
I mean, it is, and I think you can show affection through it. A lot of people feel like social media is that distance piece, like, oh, well, we closed real estate together, and that's all it was. We're gonna add each other so we can kind of see what's going on. It's like a lot of our clientele, like, I love seeing their Thanksgiving and Christmases in the homes that we've got them into,
Yeah.
and then commenting on that and sharing it, being like, I'm so happy. Because I
Yes.
think last year Shelby and I we were sitting down in the living room, and it was when I saw, like, I think probably almost a dozen families that we had taking pictures of their family in their house, and I was like, there's not a whole lot better feelings than that.
Man,
Like,
come on, brother.
it
Come
like
on.
that's special in what we do. So I didn't mean
Absolutely
to
it
cut
is.
you off, but I mean,
No, I
it
love
is.
that.
But you can bring the personal touch to it. Like, I feel the personal touch even if I didn't talk to them. But it's also a reminder for me to follow up with them, make that phone call, show up with a batch, whatever it is,
Sure.
to see them. But you
Absolutely.
crush it on social media. And
Well, thanks,
if
bro.
you do not follow JD on Facebook or Instagram or all of them, anything that he has, but I see a lot of his stuff through Facebook. I mean, dude, it's hysterical. It's hysterical. I mean, I don't know how you come up with some of this stuff. Like, where do you come up with the liquid gold of comedy? Like, tell me
Dude.
where you come up with this stuff.
I don't even know, man. Like I guess I'm just kind of a wild card, if you will.
Yeah.
And I think Shayla would probably ask that same question because she does often. She's like, "Where do you get some of this stuff?" I'm like, "I don't know. I'm just weird, dude. I just
Yeah.
pretty a weird guy, I guess." And
Yeah,
I
you're
like,
just
dude,
having
we
fun with it.
straight up just like what you see, bro, from me on anything, any platform is like my life,
Right.
and
But it's authentic.
it's authentic. It's just like I'm with my kids. I'm with my wife. I'm clowning around. Like if I had a video of us in that tundra gassing it, I would probably had posted that, but my wife would have killed me, and my mom probably would have called me and told me to stop racing my truck with my 7-year-old in the back.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
that's just kind of the authenticity of like just showing people who you are.
Yeah.
And I mean, deep down inside of me, I'm just a big kid,
Yeah.
and
Love it.
I don't think I've really left like my 12-year-old self.
That's okay.
So
I mean, I
that's,
respect
dude,
it.
you know, man, life is just so short,
Yeah.
and there's just no room to like live it to the fullest at every opportunity.
I agree.
So I just, I think if I could give advice to other agents, I think it's in the advice that I give my team is just be yourself, like don't be
Totally.
anything other than who you truly are,
Yeah.
and show people that I love people, man. I care about people.
Yeah.
And I think that I'm able to deliver that message in a way that it feels genuine, because I hear that a lot from my clients are, man, I reached out to you because I know that you're going to treat me right. I can trust you, that you're a genuine family man, and that you're going to be the person that's going to have our best interest. And that's the best compliment I could ever
I
have.
mean, that's, but people don't realize what it takes to maintain that either. So, like, what do you do? So, like, obviously, there's a foundation for you personally, like where that like leans from. Like, where do you get I don't want to say the energy. I don't want to really say the vibes either. I mean, we could say that, but we're not in California. We're in Texas. So let's talk about
The vibes,
the
bruh.
vibes, bro. So, but like, what do you do every day to maintain that level of energy and excitement, and like the transparency piece? I think comes just as like as is. But like, what do you do to self sustain yourself to continue, conveying that to the audience?
That's that's one of my favorite topics, man.
Oh,
And I'm
I had
so
no
glad
idea.
that
Let's
you
do this.
asked. Yeah,
Okay, yeah, tell me.
because a lot of people will ask that, and
Yeah.
that's I'll tell you a little bit, two parts about
Okay.
what I do in the morning
Okay.
and what's important to me.
Okay.
And I think it's so important. Number one is self-care,
Mm-hmm.
right? So, and I know people or listeners might think, well, that sounds very selfish. And I used to think self-care was selfish. But the facts are, for me and my family as the leader of my home, is that if I don't take care of me and I don't work on myself, I can't be the best leader for my family. I can't be the best husband. I can't be the best father. I can't be the best me. And I dang well can't be the best for my client and
Right.
my business and my team as a leader if I
Mhm.
don't start here, right?
Yep.
So that's what I do, man. Number one, and I encourage my wife to do this, Shayla. I push her, dude. I'm like, do you before you do anything else, And I'm like, dude, I'm huge. So my morning routine, it's been like this for a long time, is as soon as I wake up, thank you, Jesus. Thank you, God, for waking me up. And I have like self-reflect time. I get into scripture, like to read some devotionals,
Mm.
and then I dive right into motivation. And I read motivation. I read some inspiration, whatever, whether it's books, whether it's online. And then from there, I'm a I I'm preaching on this, man, because it's so important
It's so
that
good.
we don't pick up our phones and start scrolling social media first thing in the morning
Yeah.
or
Yeah.
reading the emails. They're all going to be there, right?
Yeah.
And
Absolutely.
so I think it's so important that we start with ourselves. The first time I pick up my phone is the first time I scroll onto a social media for me is when I go through my Facebook memories. I get on and I go straight to my memories and I look back at where I was from
That
X
moment.
amount of years ago. That's how I knew today was 5 years away from the railway.
Got
It's
it.
because I was able to look and see that. And I was like, man, it's so cool.
That's another power of social media, but yeah, in
Right.
a positive manner. Yeah.
Yeah. So you look and you do reflection time. And then I'm practicing gratitude. I
Mhm.
am. And then from there, I need to be getting to the gym. Do I always get to the gym? No. and some sort of physical activity. Shayla and I love to watch the sunrise. We love to have our morning coffee, especially in the fall time. But we just have that that slow time before you get started, because that's the most important part. I know it's
How
tough,
do you
dude.
do it with kids?
How do you do it? And I was
That's
about
a
to,
really good question.
yeah.
I
And
don't get enough of it. That's
no,
for
I
sure.
yeah, I know you don't.
Yeah.
Hey, right there with you, brother.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
that is the hardest thing to do.
Yeah.
And when Shayla and I started trying to practice that, I remembered going, I got the kids for you. I
Mm.
would put hers before I would put myself
Yeah. Yeah.
on when I could,
Yeah.
right?
Totally. Oh yeah.
If
There's
the
things
kids
that
are up
happen.
all freaking night, like a lot of times they were, we're both like, oh, we're just trying to
Zombie.
get to the door, right?
Yeah.
Like, can we even like function because we slept 2 hours? I get that.
Yeah. Yeah.
So for me, it was like trying to just have a balance of, hey, today's your day. Like, I got this. I can handle this, kids, for the morning time, the routine.
Yeah.
But as they get older, it gets easier.
Yeah.
And even during a nap time, I think we're still able to just take 5 minutes to ourselves
Yeah.
as soon as as soon as she closes her eyes, go. And it's about being intentional
Mm-hmm.
with yourself, is going, I'm going to take these. And maybe it's not 5 minutes, dude. Maybe it's only 2 minutes. Maybe you got 30 seconds,
But that's
but
that
that
time.
intentional time for yourself
Yeah.
to go, man, thank you for this day. Thank you for this blessing of this baby that's healthy,
Mm-hmm.
that's alive. Thank
Mm-hmm.
you for waking me up today, because there's other people out there that didn't.
You're in the wrong job, dude.
It's like
You should be at church preaching.
all those
You
things.
don't. I mean, but it's good.
Oh, you're making
I
my
mean,
hair
I know,
stand up, dude.
seriously,
It's like,
but I mean, this is a reminder for me too, and I think that's where if you I was just speaking on this last week when I was in New Orleans, was you cannot defeat what you cannot define. So it's like if you cannot define this yourself and what you're doing, and you're going through your struggles, how are you going to defeat the things that are standing in front of you every day? Which is maybe you didn't sleep enough, maybe the kids are running around, they're driving you crazy,
yeah,
maybe the job is being really stressful. But if you can't define who you are and what your every day is going to be, how are you going to defeat that? And I was like, and I heard that quote and I was like, that is really, it's powerful. And I was like, I'm reflecting on myself because I was like, man, there's a lot of things I'm not doing that I need to be doing,
sure.
just like that, just as simple as the wake up in the morning and wifey, I got the kids today. You go do what you need to do for, like you said, 5 minutes, 10 minutes, whatever it is. And sometimes that's the most important piece of the day.
Right.
I'm not a morning person either. So I need to be better about doing those things. But I think that's what starts the day, right? So middle of the day, you ate a huge lunch, you're drowning out a little bit. Tell me okay, so what's for you? What's the driving force, other than success, right? Success could be money, it could be fame. It doesn't matter. I know that's not what drives you. What's the thing that's driving you to get to that next level of, let's say, doubling y'all's business, right? I know it's not about the transactions or the number for social media. It's about the transparency. But what's the drive for you to
Man,
do that?
coming from where I come from, it's not going back.
Mm,
And when you have been to a place that you don't want to go back to, dude, that will drive you.
yeah.
Like, today is the most awakening day that I was able to call my mom and dad on the way here and go, just catch up,
Mm-hmm.
and tell my dad, man, it's been 5 years since I left the railway. Can you believe that?
That's an awesome
And
thing.
he, because everybody was so against me making that move because it's the security and it's the best thing. But when you've been to a place in your life that you don't want to go back to, that'll drive you.
I totally agree.
And waking up and going, man, I get the opportunity to impact people's lives today.
Mm-hmm.
That drives me, and that'll drive me all day long. And it's hard, dude. It's
It
so
is.
hard to stay motivated. I
It
don't
is.
care what anybody says. Oh, you woke up that way. Oh, you just got something that nobody has. I'm like, no, I've been places that you ain't been.
Yeah.
I've been to rock bottom. I know what it feels like.
Yep.
And whenever I look back on times like that, it drives my train, dude.
It does. And then, like you said, you're the leader of the household. You don't want you don't you know I know you never want that for your boys
dude.
ever.
They are a driving factor, but there's even more than than them. And
Hmm.
it's just, I'm a firm believer, in one of my favorite mottos is, if you want to change the world, start with the youth.
Mm,
So yeah, you're right. Our kids, right? Because we can only affect our own household most of the time. But there's just so much more to this world, dude. We're like, we're ants,
yeah, seriously.
And I truly believe that we're here for a purpose, man, and we're here to change the things around us and impact people's lives.
I mean, which some of these people are making the biggest financial, you know, um, I mean, they're using this is one of the biggest financial pieces of their life, and especially with homes.
Right.
And I would say, I wouldn't say the majority of our industry because I don't know the exact number or percentage or anything like that. But I would say, from a personal standpoint, I feel like a lot of our industry doesn't bring the trust and transparency and energy and excitement that the client should feel every time.
Right.
And I think it's sad. Like, this is a big thing. People should be excited, and people should be
Dude.
surrounding you with love.
Oh my
And
gosh.
I'll tell anybody that's
Yes.
listening as a consumer, if your agent or lender, it doesn't feel that excitement for you and help you feel that way, you might be working with the wrong person.
Wow.
I mean, let's just be
Right.
honest,
Yeah.
like, I don't want that for you. And
Wow. No, you're right, Hunter. You nailed. I hope you guys heard what he said there. If you're not feeling if you're not surrounded by love, if how your experience is happening isn't giving you like the woo, let's go feeling.
yeah,
And yes, there's gonna be bumps. Yes, real estate isn't always easy, and it's not the Instagram photo that everybody sees in front of the brand new Highland home. Yeah,
yeah,
it's not
yeah,
that.
yeah.
It's everything that leads up to that. Like you said earlier, man, sometimes we have to wear that counselor hat. Some days
Hmm.
I'm the hype man, dude. I am the hype man, and I'm gonna make you believe your wildest dream is gonna come true tomorrow.
Right,
But that's how I feel, and I
right.
believe that for you already.
Totally.
And so I do. Yeah, we've got to be there for our clients, man. And
It's
teaming up
huge.
with people like you, dude, in the industry is so powerful, because we all know that it's teamwork.
Oh,
Like,
100%.
there's no home buying without what you do.
And vice versa though. But that's the thing is, like, I tell people, I'm like, it's almost like running the 4x1, in the Olympics.
Love that.
It's like most of the time it starts with you guys. You're passing the baton to, you're starting that conversation, you're passing the baton to us, we're getting the pre-approval, we're going through an application, getting everything ready, pass that baton back right back.
Yeah,
Y'all run a sprint to
when
find the home.
it starts the other way, us realtors are like, yeah,
Yeah,
oh,
yeah,
what Hunter just called pre-approved, we're ready to go. Yeah,
I believe me when I say I wish it happened like that more often. I
I know
wish it
it
did.
doesn't, right?
But that's kind of the thing, is it's that pass that baton, and it's that
Absolutely.
teamwork to say, okay, like, we are going to go to that next step, and we're going to get there. And like you said, maybe someone cuts you off. Maybe is someone is in our lane, or something is in our lane, but we're going to find a way to overcome that
Sure,
if you're working with the right team.
the right team.
And that is detrimental to success in this industry. I mean, but
Yes,
you can have an amazing real estate agent and the lender is not, and
sure.
vice versa. And I've seen great lenders do really well, and they have a really bad real estate agent, and those clients can never find a home because the agent isn't fully maybe committed to them. Maybe they're focused on other things. Maybe they're not as educated. Maybe, whatever that is. And it hurts the client. I mean,
Absolutely.
and people just don't realize that.
Hmm.
And I hate to say it, but it's true.
No, you're right. You're absolutely right. And to touch more on like the dynamics of the teamwork, it's like when I have my initial buyers or sellers consultation with our client, I let them know, like, everybody that's in my database and my preferred team is
Hmm.
now yours.
Yeah.
And that's what
Use
sets
them.
us aside from other people in our industry, is
100%.
that the people that I'm working with, I know, I love, and I trust.
Hmm.
And anybody touching my client, uh, hey, when you join my people, my family as a client, like, I'm in your best interest, dude.
Yeah.
And everybody that works on my side of this transaction is going to treat you right.
Yep.
We're gonna have problems, right?
Yeah. I mean,
But
it's true. And you're gonna, yeah, it's like you said, you're gonna have problems. But then it's, how do you overcome those? And it's like, would you rather because let's just be honest. almost every transaction, there is one problem that pops up. And it
Sure.
could be this big and it could be this big. There's always one little one. And it's either you're gonna have the people on your side and in your corner, like you said, you trust, or we're gonna have problems.
Right.
But people don't think about that.
Yeah.
Especially with the NAR settlement changes.
Absolutely.
With rates being higher, right? Like, who do you want on your side? People who are going to be experienced in this and know how to coach you through this and walk you through this and be patient, or someone be like, let's just buy a house, let's get a check. I mean, cool. We all get paid. Just be transparent. We all do this to make money, but at the same time of it is, I want to see you do this for short-term success and long-term success. And I know you do too. Like you talked about your
Absolutely.
investments long ago. Your dad,
Oh, man.
what'd your dad say about the real estate? You never sell it.
Yeah,
You never
he's like,
sell.
don't ever sell your real estate.
It's the same thing. It's the same thing in the conversation with this. And I don't know. And then I look at companies like BlackRock that's buying up. The BlackRock might like lightning strike me somehow. I'm sure they can, but you know, but
They
but
heard it on this podcast.
Yeah, they
coming
probably
for you.
did. They probably got some AI about something. But it's like, but they're buying up every single family residence that you can. It's like, let's look at the amount of inventory that's available for these people, and things are changing. Like, what do you think about that? Like right now, if you, how many properties have you bought and sold roughly, or do you own now?
Our
Let's say, what's your
personal
portfolio look like?
um,
I'm not trying to make you brag, but just give me like
we
a
got
good
like
number.
15 doors.
Okay, so 15 doors, right? So now let's say you were talking to a first-time investor now. Like, what's that conversation look like? Like, what did you do and why do you think it's important that you still hold those doors now? Because that's something to be proud of, but it takes a lot of work.
Yeah. So I think our initial conversation looks something like, what is it that you're trying to achieve for the long-term investment? Or is this like all investors are going to be different? You know, a lot of people, they think they want to flip houses because they see too many TV shows and it looks
Yeah.
really easy.
Yeah.
And then we break everything down on what that really looks like and how fast you can lose your butt.
Yeah.
And then you have, you have short-term investors. I say anything underneath 5 years
Yep.
is to me is a short-term hold.
Okay.
And then you have people that are looking for long-term passive income. Those are usually the three buckets that they come to us. And I think we're going to tailor the plan to each individual couple or single business or whoever they are that comes to us.
Totally.
And that's what I love. I love the investment world. So, what we do is just sit them down and go, what is it that you want to see in 2 years, 5 years, 10 years? A lot of people come to us that have normal 8 to 5 jobs, but they want to get invested into real estate, but they don't know how. They don't even know where to start. Well, do I need 20%? What's the answer?
No.
Okay. And then we educate them. We plug them in with people like you and say, hey, here's why you don't need 20% on this deal. And how, just being creative
Yeah.
and problem solving to whatever their needs are.
I mean, I totally agree. I'm gonna add a question onto this. Do you think your first home is the greatest opportunity to have an investment property if you're a first-time home buyer?
Absolutely. It's the best investment that you're going to make.
I agree, and that's one thing that I don't think. I don't think the consumer, like the daily consumers, realize is your first home is the greatest opportunity for success for an investment property. It's the greatest. It's the least amount of down payment you can put on a house.
Absolutely. And I tell, sometimes I get ahead of myself when I'm talking to a first time home buyer because it's a lot to digest on what it looks like to just buy your first home.
Yeah.
But then I get them so excited. And when they see my excitement and I don't only just let them hear it, I show them.
Yeah,
I'm
your
like,
experience.
dude, look, like, here's what we do. We bought this house for $250,000. It doesn't have to be your forever home. Just
Right.
because what we're doing here is just getting our foot into the game. You got to get into the game. It's like Monopoly, man. You're going to sit over there on the sideline or you're going to start buying up properties. The guy who buys up all the properties wins, right?
100%. That's
And
why they're doing it.
That's why they're doing it. So you get that initial investment. And I always tell my first time home buyers, this doesn't have to be your forever home. It doesn't have to check all 10 boxes that you need. All we're doing right now is getting you out of a rental. We're putting this mortgage payment towards equity that we're building. And in 5 years, this house is probably going to be worth like 300,000. You just bought it for 250. Guess what? Then we're going to do a cash out refinance of some sort, or we're going to sell this property, roll it into your next deal. Like, the opportunities are in your hands once you get into the game.
Which is 100% the truth. And it's a lot easier to build your portfolio once you own a property now. That's what I tell people. They're like, and I always ask, I talked to a first time home buyer this weekend, and I was like, do you want to own multiple properties? He was like, well, yeah. I said, well, how, if you had a dream, how many properties would you want to own in the next 10 years? And he was like, let's say 3. And I was like, and he was trying to determine if he should continue renting or buying. Just like, I'll just save cash and start buying rental properties. I was like, how long is it going to take you with cash, with this in, staying renting, versus now you have the opportunity to buy a home and you start building that as equity for 3% down. The good FICO, you can do a 3% down conventional loan to buy a house. It's like FHA is 3.5.
Yeah. And
You
then you get
know?
a good realtor who can negotiate on the other end of this contract for you.
Yes.
How many people are we locking in, dude, that are, we paid somebody's car off
Dude,
and they
it's
got the
been,
house for, they got a check back at closing.
I mean, and it's happening
on, baby.
everywhere. And everyone's like, well, the rates are too. I'm like, for the love of God, if I hear it one more time, I'm like, I could almost just shake some of these people. And in the best way, I'm like, I'm trying to shake you with love, because I'm like, I want you to see what's really happening with these other major corporations. Like I learned this on the last one with Angie Yates, or excuse me, 2 episodes ago with Angie Yates. But she was like, I didn't even know the attorneys from the NAR settlement opened their own real estate brokerage. Did you know that?
I didn't know that.
I didn't know that either. And I was like, and then now they're getting, I was like, but that's what people don't realize what's happening in this industry. Just because what you see, it may not be
Right.
what's going on behind the scenes. So,
Sure.
man, I love that. First off, congratulations on the portfolio. I'm a little jealous. I'm gonna catch up to you. So now I'm gonna set a goal. I'm like, I gotta catch up to JD. So, man, that's great. Now talk to me a little so you talk to me a little about the areas that you guys work in predominantly now. I know you work a lot of. I know you guys work all of DFW. What do you guys specialize in?
DFW, I mean, we've got investor clients that we work all over with.
Mm-hmm.
I would say now that we've moved out towards the Willow Park Aledo area, I feel like a lot of our business is moving that way.
Okay.
I feel like people who we sold their first homes to are already turning around and trying to get to the outskirts of the city. They might have bought, something closer into like the inner loop. I call like, the 820 around the city. And now they're like, man, our kids we're outgrowing this house. So, we are doing more and more and more transactions out into the county. I think that's just from where we started to where we're at today, to where people are just, I think after COVID, a lot of people felt their homes coming in on them. And I don't think it's necessarily the home size. I think it's more just the dynamics of having to stay home. And then fast forward, they're like, man, if we'd have had an acre or 2 acres, a lot of people are trying to expand. So I feel like we're doing a lot outside of the city limit, and people that are, moving their families to other school districts, Aledo's, Brock, all that way.
Yeah.
Um,
Is this most of these families like second, third, maybe fourth home?
Right.
What you're seeing a lot of?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, I think a lot of those people are moving to have more room, more space, and they're moving for all sorts of reasons. But I would say most of our business is primarily on the outskirts of West Fort Worth.
Got it. I mean, it's a beautiful area. If you're looking to buy, sell, or invest in that area, reach out to this guy, because I know you guys are literally everywhere all the time, and I love it because but you got to be in it to live it. You got to be in it. You got to be a part of it.
Absolutely.
And you guys are really invested in that community, which I think is absolutely freaking awesome. So, talk to me a little bit about like what you guys are seeing in the market like currently. So today's September 17th. This will probably come out in like a week or so. So talk to us a little about like the current market now. Where do you think the market's going to the end of the year, beginning of the new year, like what you're seeing overall?
Man, the market is, I always say real estate be real estating, right?
That's the truth.
They're like, what's it like today? I'm like, real estate be real estating, dude. It's just, It's always the ebbs and the flows of the market. We're up and we're down in it. And that's what I love about it, right? So we're able to combat whatever the market is doing, and we're learning to adapt, which is super great.
Yeah.
To help our clients win. Yep. So right now, I don't have the crystal ball, but the way that I feel and what is happening for me directly for our team and our local industry, right underneath my nose, is that I feel like we're still getting some decent deals on properties.
Totally.
I feel like that's starting to slow down here as the interest rates are starting to trickle down.
Election's
And
45 days away. Yeah.
we're right up on the election, but I do feel like people who are sitting on the sidelines and not buying right now are going to wish that they did when interest rates are, lower. If once they're in the fives, I do believe that people are going to wish that they did purchase.
Mm-hmm.
And what's great is the people that couldn't purchase whenever we were back in like the threes, it was terrible. They were all first time homebuyers, and it took
It was
everything.
horrible.
It took all the joy out of this. Going, man, I'm so sorry. Like, we're probably not going to be able to get you into a house,
We're gonna see 30 homes, and all 30 will probably be gone by or under contract by the time you even get home.
dude. I showed a guy like over 80 homes, man, and that's probably on the light side.
Yeah.
And then you fast forward to us being able to circle back around with some of these clients who weren't able to, and they're crushing it. Dude, we've rocked it out for them, and
Love
it's
that.
great that they've now had the opportunity to get in. But I had to have that conversation and educate them that, look, then wasn't your time. Now is your time, and if you don't move now, then this is what I think and predict is going to happen. So if I was you, I'd buy now.
I mean, no, I totally agree. I think by next, I we've talked about this in the last couple of episodes. So if you haven't listened, go check out the other ones too, because it's been the consistent topic with every agent in different markets. And when rates hit 5.99, we talked about in the last episode, 7 million more people come back to the market. It's like there's not enough inventory for that. Inventory is higher than what it's been, but it doesn't mean inventory is ready to handle that, which I personally think next year is going to be nuts. I mean, I do. And I mean, I remember having, I don't know, 20 or 30 pre-approvals active at one time and blasting on Facebook, like who has a home within this area with these certain things, to be like, please just help us accept an offer for these people, because they're either going to have to rent for another year or they're going to be homeless and we're trying to find them a house.
Right.
And there are a lot of them first-time home buyers, didn't have the cash, didn't have as much cash. Like those families that are moving into those second, third, fourth homes normally are a little more established. Normally, I mean, especially now that if they have equity too,
Right.
So, man, I agree. I'm excited though.
Yeah,
This
absolutely.
keeps me hyped up. I'm also so competitive. I don't know about you.
I'm pretty
I'm
competitive,
like,
bro.
dude, I'm like, I love competition, but
I'm
I
so
also like
competitive that I'm worried about like the race that we're gonna have with these Tundras, because your truck may actually, it might be faster.
Well, I don't know about, I know, because I don't think, do you have the IMAX engine?
No,
Okay, I don't either.
the I-Force,
Yeah, I4.
yes,
Yeah.
the
Okay,
twin turbo, whatever it is.
so we're just twins with different colors.
okay.
I like it.
So we're gonna be even. It's whoever comes off the line the fastest.
Yeah, it's gonna be whoever jumps. But it's a great acronym. It's going back to the buyers right now. So it's whoever jumps off the line fastest.
That's right.
So, man, that's awesome. Tell me what else. Like, tell me what the team's doing. So, like, what are you guys doing in the community? What are you guys doing to expand business, to connect back to the community? Like, what's going on?
Dude,
De La Berry Group, right?
Right.
Am I saying that right? Okay, got it.
Yeah, Delivery Group. So, man, we're doing the same things that we've always done, and it's just staying active and staying out there.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that's probably the most important part for our business is I think about, I don't know, when this market really started screeching to a halt, right? Where people were jumping out of the industry in our profession completely.
Yeah.
Lenders, title people, agents, I mean, all of these things. And God is so good, and we stayed busy through those times. So when people ask you, why are you so busy, and why is your team still crushing it? Why are you still out there crushing it? Is you have to think about what you're doing for your business when business is really good,
Mm-hmm.
because it's easy when it's easy.
Yeah.
But when it's hard, it's not easy.
Mm-hmm.
And I know that sounds so silly,
No.
but
but it's true.
it's the work that you're doing during the busiest times that helps you stay afloat when things aren't as busy,
Yeah.
because you're nurturing those relationships, you're out there in the community, you're actively, doing what it takes to help your business sustain. So if you're extremely busy but you're not actually working on your business, I feel like when it comes down to a slow time, you're going to struggle even more, because now you're going to have to triple down on the work that you didn't do when you were really busy to make up for today. And
Yeah,
in
I
our
agree.
industry, it just doesn't work that way.
You guys all you have to be thinking 90 days ahead in our job.
Yes.
And that it is exhausting. I mean, I will say I'm like, golly, but then it's like if you, I was listening to a sales leader in the industry on Saturday, and he was like, I check my loan officers every single day, because if I miss it today, then it's a week. And if I miss it in a week, then I miss it for a month. If I miss it for a month, you're wondering what's going on. And you don't have time in this industry to do that. So it's like, so what's 90 days from now, October? It's almost Christmas. 90 days is literally a week from Christmas now. And you're like,
Right.
okay, we got to start for prep. We got to start prepping for that in the market, the things that change. Usually the industry slows down a little bit that time of the year with holidays. So it's like, okay, what do we do? What do we do? How do we help more people? How do we connect with more people? How do we get back to our database?
Right.
Which I think is key. I love it. I love it. Dude, I'm trying to think what else. I think I had something else, but like, what are you? Like, what do you want to talk about now?
Man,
Like, I was up with the
I
floor
want to
to
know
you.
about you, man,
Oh
because
no.
like, tell me about what your business is doing right now,
Yeah.
and a little bit more of like what it is your insight looks like for the future of you, your family, your household, and
Yeah.
business.
I mean, man, we've been blessed. I mean, we really have been. I think like we tell a lot of people, we're in mortgage, like you're in real estate. A lot of people ask, what do you do? Like, oh, it's probably been slow. I'm like, it hasn't been slow for us at all. Like last year was busy. This year has been busy.
Yes.
We've been very fortunate to stay part of the game. I think part of that's being a mortgage broker, having a lot of options. You went to UWM, at Wholesale Mortgage. You get to see the beast and the animal, that kind of driving force of this
Dude, that was
industry.
awesome.
It's a fun. I mean, they're amazing, man. They're what they do. And we're grateful to have partners like them, because they're constantly investing who we are. They're just one of many lenders that we work with. But um, when you have someone like that that's driving the industry over and over and over again, it's like almost like beating a dead horse. But it's like beating a dead horse that's like ready to run. It's like, let's go. And I think that's us. So, you know, um, we've recently transitioned to Grow Mortgage about 2 months ago now, which was a big leap here for us. Leaving Edge after 3 years, which was crazy.
Well, congrats,
Thanks,
man.
man. I know you
That's
guys just
awesome,
moved to
dude.
Real, which is a big thing. So I mean, I think for us, it's just been, um, it's the same day. It's a same journey, just a new day.
Right.
And I think that's what it is for us. So if I like had a crystal ball, what I think's happening, I think everyone right now is pushing refinances on the mortgage side. I personally have told the majority of our database to wait. I think things are going to start getting a little bit better.
Good.
Tomorrow is the 18th is the Fed day.
Right.
So Fed's coming out. They'll be announcing a rate cut. We'll see. I think mortgage rates will probably tick up a little bit the next week or two till things kind of balance out. But I'm excited for the future. I think lenders are starting to get more creative for clientele to find ways to get people in homes. A lot of programs have been coming out on getting options. But I think it just goes down to the foundation of who we are. It's transparent. When you get me on the phone, sometimes I might be a little straightforward, but it's because I want what's best for you. I got a guy right now who's working with a large credit union, and I'm like, listen, like they were a little bit better than we were in rate, and I was like, but I guarantee you they will not close that loan on time. And I got him in touch with the class client. I told the same thing, and they didn't. He called me a week before closing. They denied him the last minute. And we said,
Ooh.
and I was like, I think the thing with this industry is you have to know with people who know what they're doing. And we're all
Absolutely.
human. We're all human. We're gonna make mistakes. Like I make mistakes all the time. But what are you gonna do about it? What are you gonna do when you make that mistake?
Yeah. Solve the problem.
Totally.
Easy.
And that's our job.
Right.
It's like you said, putting the mini hats on. And most of the time I feel like a firefighter trying to put out fires. But I honestly don't think I would do it any different.
Love it.
So we're just kicking butt and taking aim.
That's what I'm talking about, brother.
I love it. So,
Dude,
yeah, man, we're blessed though. I mean, God's
love
good.
that.
It has just been, it's been a lot of fun. And you're sitting in the office now, the area, and it's like, oh man, it's like, who can I help today? Who can I help
Yes.
today? And like yesterday, it was a little slow. I just got back from a work trip, and agent called me. She's like, "We got to have a pre-approval tonight for this client I've never talked to before." And I was like, "Okay, let's do it."
Let's
We're all
go.
until 10 o'clock p.m. But like for me, like that gets my energy going. Like
Sure.
offers accepted this morning. Let's close in 2 weeks.
Let's go.
I think
Let's
that's what I'm
go.
talking about.
Dude,
So
let's go. And see, man, that's great. Something you just said, there's like, you found out, short time crunch,
Mhm.
but getting the job done.
Totally.
So
Totally.
when the agent calls, the client calls, you're ready for action. You're motivated. And that's what it takes, man. It's like
It
you
does.
need somebody like you on your team that's gonna drive the train, that's not gonna, oh well, I'll talk to you on Monday, or
Yeah. If it's Sunday, 1 o'clock. I mean, I might be at church. I might be telling you we'll call you right after. But after that, you know what I mean? It's like the same thing. It's like, let's get it done.
Yeah,
But
absolutely.
it takes that teamwork. What we were
Sure.
talking about earlier. It takes teamwork. And you guys all say that. I mean, I hate to say it, but a lot of our transactions like are all different agents every single time. But like for you, you work with multiple lenders. I know that.
Sure.
And I know you've worked with lenders that are outside of your sphere. What does that feel like to you?
Oh, it feels kind of like I don't know. I guess it feels like you're cheating on your lender. But
That's funny.
you're like,
That's funny.
Hunter's my guy, and I'm using this person who I've never had any interaction with. Right. So
Yeah.
the first conversation is like a blind date, and we're just like, man, hopefully we're vibing, right? And I'm
It's kind of awkward.
talking to this, and by the way, this is a guy I'm talking to, so the blind date's even more
Yeah, you
awkward.
can't even sweet talk him a little bit.
Can't even sweet talk him.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, I've had great experiences with lenders outside of my sphere, and I've had terrible experiences with lenders outside of my sphere. I think that for me, the conversation that I have with my client, whether they come pre-approved or not, is me doing my due diligence as an agent for their best interest, to know
Mhm.
that the lender is even
Up to
there,
par.
that they're
Yeah.
there. Yeah, they've got to be up
Yeah.
to par on the conversation flow.
Which I don't think a lot. And actually, I don't want to make a statement. I think I want to ask a question here. Do you feel that the lending piece can make or break your offer getting accepted?
Absolutely.
And then tell me
Absolutely.
why.
Well,
And I know this, but I want the consumers to hear.
yeah, well, I mean, there's just so many different types of lenders out there, right? And most of us agents know what the good and the bad feels and looks like. So maybe they did have, we're not going to get into names here, but maybe they had this certain lender that promised 30 days, man, I'm gonna have you to the closing table, but you already knew that they couldn't close that loan on time.
Yep.
Why? Because you've had experience with them. Somebody has had experience with them, and you've been around the block a time or 10.
Yeah.
And you already know the writing on the wall on like how that's gonna pan out. So I think it's for us, it's educating the client, us as agents, and this is talking to all of our agents, because I'm pro agent, dude. Like, I want to be friends with agent. Like, all realtors out there, I want what's best for them.
You're not in competition.
There's no competition, dude. And that's what's so cool about all the people in our industry locally here, is like the support that we have for one another. Man, I've got,
like, you and I met through that. It was like through an event.
yeah.
I think the first time I saw you in person was at the airport.
Yep.
Is
Yeah, that morning.
it was.
Yeah.
It was. And I was like, JD, and he's like, it was just like that. But the community feels small because that's the
Yes.
community we work in.
It absolutely is. So yeah, but and like I said, I didn't want that to come off the wrong way as like, oh well, because I know that there's lots of great agents in the DFW, and
Totally.
I think it's just important that we educate our clients on all of these things that we're talking about, and lending being one of the biggest pieces to the puzzle is helping them well, first off, making sure that us as the agent understand enough about lending to know whether this is a good product, bad product.
That's a
Like
good point of view right there. I like that. Yeah.
to your point earlier, is like I do have 5 different lenders, because I not every client is going to be for every lender.
Totally.
So I have to make sure I'm like, that blind date goes well whenever they introduced to Hunter. I need to know that this person's gonna flow well with you,
Yeah.
not only for business, but from the communication, the way that your vibes are gonna be with this person.
And then what they specialize in product wise
The
too.
product's the most important part. It's
Totally.
like we've got a land lender, we got hard money lenders, we got investor friendly lenders, we got traditional lenders, we've got all of these bases are covered. So I think it's important for the agent to understand that what you specialize in and what you're great at, so they know when I sit down for my buyer's consultation, and my ears are perking up, because I'm like, okay, I'm going to send them to Hunter because I know he specializes in this criteria of a buyer.
Totally.
And so I think, if we can understand what the buyer needs, that's the most important part. And then, where we're plugging them in, because it's just not like there's no like one box checks it all in our industry.
Unfortunately
There's
not.
just so many different ways to be creative, and that we have to be knowledgeable on each individual lending program and lenders across the board. Things are
Or if you don't
changing.
know it, you got to have the right lending partner that's able to educate,
Sure.
which is, I mean, it could be detrimental to a process. You could tell them one thing and it's completely wrong.
Right.
And there's a lot changing on the blending
Oh my,
side.
yes, and that's the
Oh
thing.
my
Is how
Lord.
fast things are changing.
Oh,
But yeah, I always tell my clients, I'm like, look, I know enough about that to get me in trouble. I'm gonna get Hunter on the phone right now. Hold on, you got 5 to talk? Sure. Boom, we dial him up. Hey, Hunter.
yep.
What's there's some gray area here. What do you think's the best? What's going to be best for the client in this situation? Because
Yeah.
to your point is, we don't have all the answers.
And you shouldn't have to. It's not your, would say it's not your job. It's your job to be able to lay the foundation and the work to be able to give them to the next point. It's passing the baton.
Right. Absolutely.
But it's the same thing with you guys. Like, I'm not going to tell the client, like, I'm going to say, hey, here's the client's budget in the sense of what they're really looking for. And then you guys are going to go, okay, well, this area is going to be the best for their budget in the sense of taxes and insurance and of HOA. You're going to put that piece together. That's not my specialty by any means. It's, here's your box. This is the goals that you want to hit. We're hitting those goals. Great. I'm going to pass it back to you. Now it's your job to bring literally that box, like, come to life, turns into a home at that point. And like, that's not my specialty. That's yours. But I think that's what also makes it makes our industry very difficult in the sense of you have to rely on a lot of people.
Right.
But it's, if you can rely on the people that you trust and you build that sphere, excuse my French, but damn, man, you could be powerful. You could do some dangerous things in this.
You can make a lot of house babies.
Yeah.
A lot of house babies.
You can make a lot of house babies. And that's where you start seeing the pictures at the end. The pictures on Instagram and Facebook, holding the big key, pop of the champagne. It is freaking special, man.
It is, dude.
I love it.
Oh man,
I love it. But
I love that. Now, man, we're so close to Thanksgiving, and I'm just gonna that's gonna be playing in my head on seeing the families at Thanksgiving dinner, seeing them at the table, seeing them, like right now I'm already starting to see it, because you're getting like the family photos of everybody in front of their doorstep in their jerseys. They're all geared up.
yes.
And
yes.
like I just love that, dude.
I do
It's
too.
so cool. I'm
You know what
so
I'm gonna
happy
do?
you said that too.
You know what I'm gonna do now? I'm gonna make those Instagram highlights on your story.
Yeah.
I'm gonna do it to where I'm gonna ask the families if it's okay, but I'll take a screenshot of their post. And I'm
Yeah.
gonna make the highlights of all the families every year that I see, like they close it.
Oh,
So then I can go back as a reminder, instead of like trying to like scroll through my photos. I have like 9,000 photos of my kids. I know you do too. But it's like, but I could create a highlight and post it on my story and share those things, those beautiful moments. And then I could go back and, like you said earlier about the memories, but it's a highlight. I could highlight all the families that we did this year. And if I see their post on social media, I can save that to that highlight and then see it.
yes.
I think
Dude,
we
you're onto
both came up
something.
with something. We were both playing off each other. We just came
I
up with
love
something
that,
good
dude.
because man, it's fun. And I love going to bed at night seeing smiles.
Yes.
So well, dude, I will say this. It's been an absolute freaking pleasure.
Dude, pleasure.
I have loved having you on. If you don't follow JD on any and all social media, please do it. I'm gonna put all of his links in his description below.
Dude, you rock, bro.
And if you're buying, selling, investing, and I didn't know you were such a big investor, that's freaking awesome. Investing, especially, reach out to JD, let the man educate you, let him drive you around in his new Chandra and show it off because he deserves it. And brother, it's been a pleasure.
Dude, pleasure's all mine, Hunter. Thanks for having me on. And if you guys need to follow me on socials, you drop in the links. I'm big on motivation, inspiration, and anything that you need that's involved in real estate. We like to call ourselves the one-stop shop. Give Delaberry a call. Plug in, baby.
I love it. Well, thank you all for joining us. We will go live next week with our next guest coming up here soon. So stay tuned for that. Hit the like, hit the subscribe, and we will see you next time.